This is a lecture series on understanding pointers in C and C++. Okay, so we will try to understand what is pointer in C, and first, why do you need it? Okay, to understand that, we need to first realize that the computer memory is nothing but a contiguous blocks of memory location. Okay, so it is basically, you have memories. So if you have, let's say, a memory which is 32-bit computer, okay, so your memory will be, you will have 2 to the power of 32 memory locations. Okay, so you have these many memory locations, and now everything, each memory location can store certain number of values, okay, or data. So let's say each memory location has 1 byte of memory to store. Okay, so this means if you have 2 to the power of 32 memory locations, so you will have 2 to the power of 32 into 1 byte of memory you can store in your computer. Okay, so this is the meaning. So now if you have, let's say, just a simple 16 memory locations in your computer, okay, and basically we have a 4-bit address space. So your address will start, okay, and something like this. Okay, so each memory location will be there. Your computer, this is your computer, so these are the addresses, and you have something like this. So we have memory location 0, 1, 2, 3, then let's 14 and 15. So we have 16 memory locations, and in all these memory locations, let's say we have 1 byte of data we can store. So you can have something like store a 12 here, store a character A here. Okay, so these can be done. But let's say what happens is, if you have to store a number which is 157. So now 157 is, again, it can, in 1 byte memory location is there, so 157 is less than 255, so it is less than 8 bits, you can represent it. But if it is 392, it will require 9 bits. Okay, now you cannot store it in just one memory location. Okay, so what will happen is, now we will need, so if it is, let's say, you are representing some number which is from 0 to 16 bits in length, now you will need 2 memory locations, because in one memory location I can have first 8 bits, okay, and in the second memory location I will have the second 8 bits, and so this way you can store. So if your number is like this, some 16-bit number, so this is the bits MSB and these are LSBs. So this is bit number 0 to, so this is the 15 to 0 bit, this is 16 and this is 31. So this byte will be stored in the next memory location and the other one in the first memory location. But when we need to say what is the, where is that data stored or where is that integer stored, we will write the address 2, because it starts at this memory location, and in fact it can continue till, if it is a, let's say, a bigger number which requires 4 bytes, then even it can go to memory locations 2, 3, 4 and 5, but my address will be 2. So this way your computer stores. Okay, and when you define like this, int I is equal to 5, so somewhere your computer sees that, okay, let's say it's a 4-bit integer we are dealing with, so it will find that, okay, memory location 14 is there free, so it will write 5 there. Float, let's say we make one more memory, okay, 13 and 12, and somehow I say that, okay, 2 bytes or 16 bit is enough to store a float. So now what will happen when I write float j? So it will write, let's say, the first part here, okay, something like the decimal part here, okay. So along your memory location address where j is stored, the float j will be 12 memory location. And hence now what happens when we talk about memories? So memory stores values, okay, and they have certain locations also. So that is, I is the value that is stored in the variable I, but that I must be stored somewhere. So I is stored here, let's say at location 14. So that is the address of variable I where it is stored. So each variable, when you declare a variable, so it is stored somewhere and it stores something, okay. So two things are there. Now that is important. It stores something and it is stored somewhere. So both the things can be found. So for finding the value, I just write I, but to find where it is stored, I have to give ampersand I. So this is the idea. Now we will see this code, and this is the introduction to pointers. So I have two variables, int I is equal to 5. So here we have a 4 byte integer or 2 byte integer, and then a float which is a 4 byte. So address of I you can write using ampersand I. If the variable is I, you can use this ampersand of a variable to get the memory location where it's stored, and basically the starting memory location. So if it is occupying 4 bytes, 4 memory locations to represent, then you say just the first one, and then value is simply I. So for j, if we write, so ampersand j gives the starting address of where the float j is stored, and j will give you the value. So this is the takeaway from this first lecture on introduction to pointers. Each variable is stored somewhere, so that is stored in some memory location. So you can find the memory location using ampersand and find the value using the variable name, okay. So that's there for the first class of pointers. Thanks a lot.